As far as the game, I think our guys have continued to show that they're locked in, that their focus is really strong, and I'm very proud of them for that. And because practice has got a lot of energy, it's got an edge to it, but there's a real workman-like, business-like attitude with the way that they come in there and work to improve. So I'm happy with all that. And tomorrow night we're going to go against a team that's an outstanding offensive rebounding team. They had 31 offensive rebounds in the game already this year. They can really shoot the ball. They have an excellent shooter in number 15 that can really shoot it. They've got a go-to guy in the post, and it's going to be a team that again, we just got to come out and establish how we're going to play. And that's what our guys did the other night, and I think that's the most important thing, and that's what we've been focused on. Yeah, it was in a drill. Yeah, it was just errant. So it was just it was just in the middle of going for a ball. No T-Shon, no.
What did you find that you guys have, like, correctable things that you found?
Well, we haven't spent a lot of time on the correcting as much as just trying to get better with it. I mean, I think there's certain things that we see as far as offensive moves, defensive rotations, things with the zone and things of that nature. But really, more than anything else, it's just about playing with that energy and making sure that we're moving the ball the way that we did and continuing to not think that we're going to become a team that's going to try to go one-on-one or a team that's going to try to hold the ball. Just continue to move it and seeing the value of it.
As we get close to the end of the non-conference schedule, what do you feel have been the biggest keys to you guys playing as well as you have, as consistently as you have?
Well, I think they're maturing. I think it's a very underrated concept, and I know I use that term a lot, but I think it's when you have practices like we have now. I mean, that's why it's so important. Their focus has been really good. They want to get better. I think the team unity has been very, very strong. I think that's got a lot to do with it. We haven't had bad practices, and I think when you don't have bad practices and you have guys that are continuing to get better, you've got a chance to improve even inside of the games. And I think that's been a big part of it. I mean, every game there's been a period or two where things had to change, and when they got the momentum, they kept it. And I think that's really important. But there's a lot of things that they can continue to get better at. We'll assess that over Christmas break a little bit. And, you know, we self-scout all the time, but we'll do even more of it the next couple of days after because we're trying to get our preparations ready in-house, not with the team, but for the upcoming games after the break. But I think this team has just continued to improve.
You talked about it a lot the last couple of years, just accountability and sort of player-driven practices, player-led workouts and things like that. Is that kind of what you're seeing now through 11 games, through a couple months of the season? Are you seeing that at the level you want?
Oh, we've been seeing that, though, since the spring. So I think that's what's really been good. It's just been a carryover. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's they want to improve, and they're not afraid to have tough practices. And they respond to challenges. And again, it's that team unity. Today, they were very, very good at correcting others. And if a guy didn't draw a charge, there might have been 8 or 9 of them, you know, stepping up and saying something. I mean, that's when you know they're really locked in. I think that's important. There's not a disrespect, or they don't get agitated as much as they don't tolerate, you know, a lot of mistakes. And I think that's why it's important that, as I told them, they don't come in here and try to trick each other. They just come in and they keep getting better, and I think that's really important, you know, and especially as you go up the ladder.
From a standpoint, when you are recruiting, how much does personality and how, you know, guys, you figure these guys will just get along, how much does that play into it?
Well, it plays into it, but they got to go through tough things together. And there's no question we've gone through a lot of tough things here. So that's either going to cause you to really get along and bond together and want to get things done, or it's going to pull you apart. So I think recruiting and saying, okay, well, we're going to have great chemistry with this group. I don't think there's any way to know. I mean, you've got to get everybody on the same page, and that takes time. But if you've got people that have good character, if you have people that have a high level of intelligence, if you have people that are competitive, and if you have people that have an athletic upside, and then you can help them. But I think when you've got a team of guys that really want to win, you'll have some friction inside of it, but what you'll do is you'll come together even more. And I sense this group of guys really trying to put winning first and what it takes to win first. And I think that's when you know your program is really moving in the right direction.
Without naming names, have there been guys that you've recruited that are really talented, but you realize that this guy just wouldn't fit on the team very well?
That we've signed? Or that,
Just-
well, yeah, both. There's some that you recruit and there's some that you sign. The old adage, if it's not the ones that you don't get, it's the ones you get that can't play or can't help you win that hurt you. And that happens. Yeah, that happens. I mean, but it happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. And the whole key is to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistake twice as much as possible.
Tom, the art of recruiting, the 2012 class is highly rated. Obviously, Cody's highly rated. Yet Victor and Will's class, the perception was it wasn't a strong class, but then you're getting tremendous production from that. What was it that you saw about those two that wanted you to sign?
Excellent people. And we knew Victor longer than we knew Will. But people that are around him that we trusted, and high level of athleticism, edge, guys that have a little edge to them, which I think is really, really important. They'd won. So all those things really played into it. And again, I've said this so many times here, but if we were going on recruiting rankings, we'd have never signed Dwayne Wade back at Marquette. So recruiting rankings are good, and I follow them. Well, not as much anymore since we can't read them. But I think it's important that you see where guys stack up against others, but I don't think it's what you base your decisions on. I think it's just part of the process. I think figuring out who really fits and who's got those attributes, who has a high level of athletic upside, who's got intelligence, who's got character, and who has a competitive mindset. And to me, that's where that edge comes in. And so, you want guys that have been maybe overlooked or underrated, not invited to this or that, because the last thing you want in recruiting, and it's so hard, but you have to just make sure that you're not getting entitled, enabled people, and we've all done that too. But entitled, enabled people get you beat at big time, and so you want to try to stay away from that as much as possible. And sometimes you got to peel the onion back and really look at the layers a little bit to see, what's really true, what's not, and then make your own decision accordingly.
What's your take on the way you guys shot the three? Just, you lead the country in it, and it's been pretty consistent. What are the factors that really led to that kind of consistency?
I think we have good shooters. I think spacing. I think these guys spend a lot of time shooting the ball. I think that they're open to their technique being corrected, and we get a lot of reps. And Cook Hall is a part of that. I don't know if there's any question of when you have the ability to come back in for that. I think the fact that we have so many different guys that can shoot the ball, there's a respect level of making the next pass. So I think that's a part of it. And I think we've got, I think you're going to see Cody Zeller making shots that you haven't seen him make yet because he's got it in him. It just becomes a comfort level thing. And we spend a lot of time at that part of it, but I think that's the development part of it, of really making it crucial in your practices, but them spending a lot of time at it on their own.
You guys have allowed an average of 17.5 first half points in the last two games, dating back maybe more to Marquette and IU, I guess. Is this the toughest defensive toughest defensive mindset you've seen one of your teams have?
No, but I wouldn't go back and compare it, but no, it's moving forward, but it's there's no question we can get better defensively. We got a lot better defensively from the Kentucky game to the Notre Dame game. There's a lot of room for improvement. So, and it really starts, team defense covers so many areas. It's your on the ball, it's your weak side, rotations. We try to stay as fundamental as we can. Like even today, it's a lot of shell drill defense. So, no, we're not anywhere near that yet.
Going off that, then, what has been improved from this point now since the beginning of the season?
Oh, I think, even though it's been fairly consistent, not incredibly consistent, is our help side defense, but our transition defense has been much better. Our activity, our ball pressure, the deflections. Now, this team's got a chance to be the best deflection team I've ever coached, but we've got to keep that up. But they've got a very good activity, And again, I think our defense won't, it's just like our offense, we've got to get our depth to where there's really not much of a drop-off when we go to the bench, in the sense of there may be a difference in talent level, but there can't be a difference in execution and effort level. And I think those things are important. But our post defense is getting better. We've been a lot better about not fouling as much. So all those things have definitely improved.
What do you think of the zones, I guess, when you went back and watched tape of the 1-2-1, 1-2-3, not experimented with it, really?
It was good to do it in game action. Our communication was pretty good. Our rotations were solid, and we've got to get better, definitely blocking out of those areas in those different defenses.